for me, please?
Okay. Namo Bonsu Tekka.
No, English one.
Oh. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha.
Keep going 3 times.
Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha.
There you go. Keep going. Yeah.
The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it with my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and natural meaning.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's do 1 minute meditation together. Then, Serena, call your cousin, Victor. Serena,
He's already here.
you already here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he already here. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. So keep your back straight, your neck straight, close your eye, inhale and exhale to the nose. You count 1, inhale and exhale to the nose, you count 2 and keep going. Okay. If you see your monkey mind, stop from 1. Okay. We'll come back to your inhale and exhale, and if you see your monkey and you lose track of your counting, stop from 1. Thank you. All right, thank you. Serena, did you remember what did we learn last time? I saw you the video. You remember, Serena?
Not really.
Remember 83,000 brain scan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did we learn from that story?
Weren't we like about this guy who had a job and he looked at brain scans, but a lot of people were mad. A lot of different types of doctors that use brain scans. And he was wondering why it was fair for them to use it and not him, to figure out why his patients needed help. And I think he had a family member who had like a cyst or something, and that's why he was acting kind of psychotic.
Okay. He was a psychiatrist, right? Well, yeah, he said that. Well, basically, it's he started out with the X-ray, right? He learned about the to do the X-ray scan, all this thing, and later on he be able to went to in 1992, I think he went to the conference. There was a presentation between the 2 different type of doctor. The doctor about the neuro doctor, that means about the brain, and also the X-ray one, that means the one who do the scan, right? no, I think it's psychiatrist and also the doctor neutral. So what they do is they they look at the scan, and based on the scan they see different type of mental problem. When different type mental problem, that means we have a different type of picture, right? For example, the normal brain, that means the brain is have uh, they don't have the hole in between, right? All those things. But if the brain they have, for example, the one who you work, you will see many small hole in the brain. Or the one who have a mental problem like depression or anxiety, all those things, you also see the pattern of the brain. And what he argue here is why many other doctors, I mean the medical doctor, like they be able to see the they be able to read and see the X-ray, right, the brain scan, but not the psychiatrist. Let me distinguish between the psychologist and the psychiatrist. What the difference between the two? Uh, the psychologist, usually they do not have the medical degree, the medical doctor degree. That means they cannot be able to prescribe the medication. But in the United States, there are 5 different states they allow the psychologist to medicate to prescribe the medication. But the psychiatrist is different. They do have that means they have more training in medical. They have the doctor, the medical the degree, and they be able to prescribe the medication for the patient, just like all the doctor. But the only thing he concerned here is why all the doctor like uh, be able to see be able to see the X-ray, right? The scan about a brain scan, but the psychiatrist is not allowed to not they are not allowed to see the X-ray scan. What does that mean? It means that the psychologist and psychiatrist, when they treat the patient, right, usually they treat them with the guess. They guess. They don't know exactly how the brain look like. What is the problem with the brain, right? Well, of the patient, they do not know. So most of the time they guess, right? So and that is very scary. And that means sometimes they do have a wrong treatment. And you know what? When we have a wrong treatment, what happened to our patient? Well, it will damage the patient, right? It's scary. And that's why he said that why the psychiatrist is the one who are dealing with the mental problem and they do not be able to read the X-ray scan. So this is very important. So our brain, and he said that when we look at the picture of the brain, right? And we will be able to pinpoint the problem, right? And we will be able to know exactly how to treat them. And you know what? A lot of time it will be better. That means after we look at the brain scan picture, the psychiatrist be able to understand how to treat them with the better, I mean, very much better improvement in treatment. That's what they said. So our brain it's incredible. It's very incredible. Um, so we learn about that. That's important. And last time we also watched a movie about this person here. He was the project manager, right? He engineering and he oversee uh, the big project and work with many people. And you know what? Due to that, because he have a lot of stress and depressed, and but at work he pretend to to be normal. But when he left the work, right, he go back home, he a different person. You see, that means he very depressed, but he did not know that he depressed to the point that he about to kill himself, and luckily that the time on the day that he go to work, right, and he no longer be able to manage his own emotion, right, and he he on the way to work here, he stopped the car, uh, uh, and he called for help. That means he opened and he reached out. That is why, because this it saved him. That's important. Because this it saved him. So, so when we learn about a depression, this is very important to understand the way we think, right? Because the people who are so successful, they are very let's say that the one who have a tell me, um, tell me, if a person who's so successful, they have the very high profile. Why they when they come to the emotion, they cannot be able to deal with it.
Because they haven't practiced that. That's a skill, that's a talent. And so while they've developed other skills to become successful, maybe business skills or whatever other type of skills they might have achieved, they've neglected that side of how to deal with emotions and how to be present and mindful. So even though they're highly successful, if people look at them because they have a lot of money, a lot of wealth or whatever, they don't have a strong mental capacity.
So if that's the case, um, then when they come to the point that they how come they cannot be able to admit, be able to recognize the current problem they have?
Because they don't want that they're weak.
Oh, they don't want to show them weak, right? Because
Yeah.
okay, that's the great point, because that's what we saw last week video, right? Yeah, that's correct. So he didn't want to show that he's weak, right? Because he the man, and he the manager who oversee all many people, right? For the project, different project. He did not want to show that he weak, and due to that, it will lead him to depression. That's scary. Yeah, that's very scary.
I wanted to ask you something that I read. It was on the news this past week. There's a Vietnamese lady about in her 30s in Philadelphia area. Did you learn about that?
No, I did
Did you
not.
learn about that mishap? She had two sons that are, I want to say 9 and 12, and she took their life away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She took her own life, her son's life.
She took the two sons' life. Then she tried to take her own life, but I guess she was too weak.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was shocked. This is last week in the Philadelphia area.
So the two son life is gone?
Yes. She used a gun, and while they were in bed, she hurt them. I'm sorry, I just don't have the brave to say it out, but yeah. And I wanted to call,
goodness.
yeah, and then talk to you, but it was just too depressing.
Don't you think that we are so lucky we learn about this thing?
Yes. That's why I thought of, the temple, and you. It just happened that you show, about this material that we're learning last weekend. And then when Tuesday came, I saw it on the news. I read it, and it gives me, chill down my spine. I said, Thai, just, teaching us about this kind of stuff. the fact of the matter is that, you know, she's Vietnamese and she came here to United States and she gave birth to these, you know, two beautiful sons. You know how hard it is to just have children, but to raise them up to be that age. She must be under a lot of suffering.
Yeah, I think it relates to the relationship, right? I think most of the time it relates to the relationship. I think it's maybe the relationship breakdown and people that did not know how to handle it, and it's very scary. It's very scary. So she carried this thing, the stress and the depression too long, and she did not know that she has depression. And usually, the people who in this situation, they do not admit that they have problem. No, they do not. If they do, they will not end up like that. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So, so because they do not admit that they have a problem, therefore, the more we hold within, right, the more it will become the time bombing. It will explode, and when it explodes, you know what happens? You cannot be able to go back.
Right, and they will do the most unimaginable thing.
And remember one thing: when the parent depressed, right, what happened to the children?
The children suffer.
Oh, they will be depressed as well, right? They will be depressed as well. And you know what? Not only they are depressed, their children also depressed. That means many generations.
That's what we taught last week, yeah.
Yeah, because last week this doctor, he said that when we save one person, right? We not only save that person, we save that person with many other generations of that person as well. That's important. This is what we call in Buddhism. Remember the three types of given, right? The material given, that means the money, or you can use your money, you can use your labor to do the given, right? Maybe you use your money to buy food, buy gift, whatever to for the homeless. That kind of given. It's we can see the material given, and you can use your own labor. That means you can build the loving kindness house for the one in need. Those things we still call the material given. But the second material given we call, the first one is we call the external given, the external material given, the internal material given. That means we donate blood, we donate organ, right? Whatever inside here. This one is a little bit tougher, and therefore it will have more blessing, right? If we can be able to do the internal material given, the blessing will be beyond the external given. But the second given here, that means beyond the material given is beyond both exterior and interior. No, the outer and the inner, right? Given is the fearless given. The fearless given is do you know what is the fearless given? Cô Hành Nhân?
Yeah, no.
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 Tiếng Việt mình gọi là bố thí vô ý.
Hồi đó giờ chưa bao giờ nghe hết đó thầy.
Okay, so let's say that the person who have the emotional problem, right? They come to us because we have affinity with them. They come to us and you know what? And we recognize their problem, and we just sit there and listen to them without saying anything. We don't need to talk. Let them do the talk. Why? it's so important to let them do the talk because we want to let them have a chance to roll everything from inside them, right, to us. So they hopefully we can help them to release the burden, emotional burden inside them. And that's one way. After we listen to them and we be able to understand their condition, understand their problem. And you know what? But because these people will be very sensitive about emotion, we have to choose the right word and choose the right attitude to help them. Otherwise, they are so sensitive, and they will. One, if we do not be sensitive enough to for the love and care, they will walk away, right? And that means we cannot be able to help them in the long run. So and we help them to understand everything come and go, right? Well, yes, now we have been at the bottom of the suffering, but when we are in the um, um, if we look up, well, we look up, right? We cannot compare to anyone, but when we look down, you know what? We still more fortunate than others. So yeah, things come up and down all the time. It's okay. So we will try to help them to understand and comfort them. And one day be able to comfort and help them to build the self-confidence, right? That's important. It will take a month or year. We're talking about that. But in order to do that, we need to build a good relationship with them and build a trust that they can trust us so we can talk to them. This is important. Okay, so that's important. Then therefore we help them to get out of that situation. One, we be able to help them to get out of that situation. This is what we call the fearless giving. That means we give the no fear, right? Give them no fear. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is important. This type of given is more important than the material given. Doesn't matter inner or outer given of the material. Those things cannot compare to the fearless given. So the because you can save a person's life, right? You can save a person's life. You not only save a person's life, you can also help them. You save the generation of those persons. That's important, but that means you help them, you help their family, you help their children, you help their grandchildren as well. That's what I'm trying to say. And the third given is the Dharma given, right? So that is the greatest one. Anyway, so that's important. So make sure we learn this thing here, learn to understand. Then you know what? We don't have to have the depression to learn this thing. We learn it. We know the common cause, the common cause of the depression. We know the sign and the symptom. We know how to deal with the depression. And when we have a negative thinking, we know how to transform those negative thinking into positive. So when you have a friend or loved one is in this situation, you can be able to help them. Okay, so that's important, very important. You don't need to have money to do the good deed. No, you don't have to have the money to do the good deed. All you need the good heart. That's all you need. But in order to help them, you need to learn, right? To learn to have some kind of skill. Otherwise, you have no skill. How could you be able to help? So that's important. Before I move on to the next one, do you have any questions so far for me? Anyone?
I do.
Oh yeah, Serena. Yeah, what's up?
So I read about more of the case we were just talking about, and apparently, I don't know, but she was getting evicted, and she might have killed her own son. She might have like tried to kill them because she didn't want them to experience like homelessness or poverty. How would you say to like that if she killed them for that?
Oh, you mean that they a person who are in a situation that been evicted from the landlord?
Yeah, the lady in Philadelphia, it says that she's going to be evicted, and some people said she might have tried to kill her own sons so they don't have to experience like poverty or homelessness. How would you see that?
You say that you mean that they kill their own son because they don't want to see their children to be in the property. That means to be homeless, right? To be in the property. Is that what you say?
Yeah, the lady in Philadelphia who then ran away as soon as she killed them. How would you say that?
So you mean that she killed her son because of that reason? Is that what you say, right?
Yeah, because she was getting evicted pretty soon.
Okay. All right. This is what we're going to do. Remember, doesn't matter what happened to us. Yeah. Yes, things can be very worse, right? Sometimes it's worse, but it's not the end of the world. No, never. Yes, sometimes we have a worst thing happen to us. Every one of us in here, once in a while, we do encounter a big problem. And you know what? For the young kids like you, because you have not entered into the world yet, you have not experienced the difficulty of life. Life is up and down all the time. Yes, when we in this situation, remember our children, right? If we were the one who give birth to them, and we raise them up all the way up to now, and you know what? Because the person who we pick us, right? And and we, with that reason, and we say that okay, because I don't want to see my children to be homeless, to become property. No, and I'm going to kill them. That is not that is the mental problem. That person have a mental problem. You know what? In this country, we are very fortunate in this country, right? Pemi, in this country, what is the good thing about this country relate to the family have this kind of problem?
There's lots of resources here.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ways to get help. And that's what this lady, she didn't understand, is that there's ups and downs in life. And just because you're at a down point, you don't kill your children so they don't experience what you think is a down point. Like you said, it's not the end, but she just made it the end for them. So you just got to ride the waves. And she wasn't able to ride the waves. She had to be able to tell herself that it's going to get better. Because even though you have low points, things always get better. But yeah, there's tons of resources here in the United States. So she can be able to reach out, especially if you have children. They'll help take care of you and give you shelter.
Yeah, because in this country, we are so blessed. You know what? We have the social worker, and they are the one who help the poor family to have the food stamp, to have financial assistance, right? All kind of resources right here. And they also give the free medical insurance to the children, right? They do. You know why she took her own children's life? Because she depressed. Remember, when a person in the depression, Serena, do you think that they have can they be able to think properly? Huh?
No.
No, of course not. And you know what? Yes.
And also, I would have to say that the community in that area have failed her miserably.
Well, what do you mean by that? I'm not too sure. I have not read the story yet.
I'm sure she interacts with various different people, her neighbor, the people within her circle, the community. Somebody should have, jumped in and do something. People.
No. I don't. I don't think not like that. Remember, the person who depressed. You know what the common cause for the depression? Isolation. They isolate themselves from the community. They don't want to reach out. No, they don't. Just like the person last week we saw the movie, right? Because he did not want to reach out, but at the end come to the point that, and he said that he's very lucky that he made the right decision at that point. But this lady did not. The reason why they most of the time they don't have the right decision because they based on the emotion. When you base on your emotion, usually because the depression, it means negative emotion, right? When we base on the negative emotion to make the decision, you know what does that mean? Disaster. Disaster will come. That means they will end. They will eventually, right? They will kill themselves and they harm others. That is the depression mean. The depressed person cannot think, cannot do anything. They are unable to function just like a normal person. And whatever they may do, that means it's very harmful. If we see the family or the people who have the children live with this kind of parent, we should come and help them. They cannot be able to help themselves. Because why? You come and help them because you want to help the children. You want to protect the children. By doing what? By, you know what? You can call the social worker to interfere. They are the one to come down there and to look at the children's situation. If the children is not in the safe place, they will take away the children away from the mom. This is important because it doesn't mean that we want to separate the mom and the children, but we want to save the children. And we don't want the mom to play a very, very bad karma in this situation. Killing karma is a terrible thing to do. Does it make sense to you, Serena?
Yeah.
So the person come to the point that commit suicide, what does that mean? It means hopeless. That means they have no hope in life. With that mentality, a terrible thing come to them. So we have, if we happen to know these people, right? We are the ones should reach out, come to them and talk to them. If we cannot be able to communicate with them, we will call the social worker to interfere. That is the right way to do. Don't depend on the mom because the mom already depressed. Don't depend on the mom to take care of the children in this way. No, she cannot. She unable. And you know that. And also don't depend on the community because this person here, they don't want to reach out. They isolated themselves. So, that's the way. That is my view. That is the way that we should. And you know what? The good thing is when you call the social worker to interfere, we also can help the mom, right? By the social worker will help the mom to have some kind of professional therapy, right? Like psychiatrist to involve to help the mom because they want the mom to be better so that she can take care of the children. They are just a temporary providers, the shelter and food for the children, but they want the mom to be better. Okay? We very lucky to live in this kind of country. For the Western world, this is for the social program. They have a beautiful social program. But if we live in the East Asian country, no, we do not have this kind of program. Maybe in Singapore, yeah, they do. But in China and Vietnam, forget it. In the communist country, forget it. We don't have that kind of luxury like that. So the good thing about this country, because we pay tax, right? And the tax money they spend is that's what they spend for, right? Not only for the one in need, but for the elder as well, everybody. It's important. So, anyone have any questions so far? Wow, that's a very good question from you, Silvina. Thank you. Tina, Betty, you have any question for me?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, all right. Let me continue on. Um, hmm. So don't underestimate this class. This class is very important. So you never know, one day you can use it. You can use this thing to save people. Hmm. Okay, so we learned about this already. We also learned about this already. Now the next thing is we learn this thing. Okay. Okay. Jaden, read this one. Go.
Okay. This distorted type of thinking leads people to dread or assume the worst when faced with the unknown. When people catastrophize, ordinary worries can quickly escalate. Do
Example
I
one.
read the example too? Okay. An expected check doesn't arrive in the mail. A person who catastrophizes may begin to fear it will never arrive, and that as a consequence, it won't be possible to pay rent, and the whole family will be evicted.
Okay, good stuff right here. So what do you understand? Jaden, what do you understand, girl?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I understand that when people are catastrophizing, then people like they always think the worst of everything when they don't know everything about a situation.
So when they face the unknown, right? That means they are not sure that the thing is, and they are afraid, they're nervous, and that nervous, that fear, right, will turn into very quickly escalate. So how do you change the number, the example number one?
You can try checking with the person who try checking with the person who mails you the check, and then see if they're like late or they just didn't, or they're like an error or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you always call back the sender, right? Whoever's there, even though the government, right? You can call them, or even the worst scenario is, well, we can ask our friend, our relative, whoever can help us. So we can borrow them some money to pay the rent. It's not the end of the world, right? So yeah, it's sometimes it's tough. Life is sometimes it's very tough. Usually for the people who live check by check, right? That means you depend on check by check. Remember when you grow up, you need to know how to manage your money. Don't spend like crazy. If you do, you don't save for the raining day, right? When the rain comes, you have no money. So that's scary. Uh, uh, okay, all right. Victor, read it down.
It's easy to dismiss catastrophizing as a hysterical overreaction, but people who have developed this cognitive distortion may have experienced repeated adverse events like chronic pain or childhood trauma so often that they fear the worst. In many situations. Catastrophizing is a way of thinking called cognitive distortion. A person who catastrophizes usually sees an unfavorable outcome to an event and then decide that if this outcome does happen, the results will be a disaster.
Okay, what do you understand from here?
I don't really understand it.
Okay, all right. So the people who have this type of catastrophizing, right? Due to maybe the chronic pain or the childhood trauma. That childhood trauma, that means when we were a child, right? We lived in the abusive environment, and that we carry with us the trauma. That means that the pain that that we have in the past, and that those kind, you know what, make us nervous, make us always fear about something, right? We always in the panic mode, right? So when something happens, and you know what, thing is not the outcome is not yet come, but we always want to predict the outcome in the negative way. This is bad. This is really bad. And when we do that, you know what, we already create the disaster for us already. This is the thing that we don't want. So and so this thing here, we will learn about how to deal with it more. Okay. This is just like the panic disorder, or the one who always fear, right? Okay, I will stop right here, and we will have a Kahoot quickly. And okay, let me give you the Kahoot. Sorry. Mm. Kahoot is a good way to review, right? To review our learning. So I think it's a good idea to do the Kahoot together. We don't want to contest with the score, but at least it helps us to understand, remember whatever we have learned in the past. Yeah. I put the link inside the chat, so you can copy the link, and I hope everyone enjoyed the code just for fun. Oh, Thăng event here. That Tammy, that's your name. Interesting. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's my Buddhist name.
Hey, what does that mean? You know the meaning?
Serene and peaceful.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, the master gave me that name.
Oh, that's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Mm. Mm. Okay, do I have everyone here? Mm. Let me see. I think Tina, do you in yet, con? Tina?
I'm loading.
You're loading? Okay, I give you some time. Okay. This kind of learning is okay, right, everyone?
Yes, I very appreciate it.
I hope you enjoy it, because sometimes the kids that they're teaching on Friday, it's kind of bored for them. Because they're too young. They're about fifth grade to 7th or 8th grade. Sometimes it's too young for them. It will be tough for them. Okay, all right. Tina, do you be able to get in? No?
My computer's a bit slow.
It's still loading? Alan, oh yeah, Alan, you did. Yeah. So everything okay with you, Tina?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. I saw you. That's good. All right, let's get started. What is a chemical imbalance in the brain, right? What is that? Wow, interesting. What are the symptoms of the chemical imbalance in the brain? More than one answer? What are the symptoms of the chemical imbalance in the brain? What does the CBT stand for?
Oh!
What is psychotherapy? Mhm. He's not a doctor, a general doctor. Okay. Okay, that's good.
Bên thi giọt hương.
What does a psychotherapy do? What do they do? What do they do?
Psychotherapy. Psychotherapy.
Which is a quick fix for the chemical imbalance? Yeah, we learned all this thing in the past, long time ago. Yeah, I have enough time to play all these things.
Don't have enough time because I don't have to learn this.
Oh, you have not learned this?
No, man.
It's okay. Remember, the antidepressant medication is only temporary, okay?
I'll learn.
Oh,
It's me.
What does bibliotherapy mean? This book right here, that means it help the patient to do it himself whenever they have the negative thought, right? That they know how to deal with it. They are the one who take care themselves. After a patient finishes receiving treatment, which method may cause a relapse? That means the depression come back, right, for the patient. Which one? Yeah, that's good. This is the best. Yeah. For the CPT, where the our sickness come from? Where the sickness come from? Should be very easy.
I have been able to learn this.
Yeah, come from our mind, right? All the sickness come from our mind.
Not everywhere.
Okay. The cognitive, what the cognitive distortion means. Yeah, that's good. Oh wow. Yeah. Good, very nice. Congratulations. That's very nice. Okay, let's do this. I think we can finish this thing here. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Ivan, go ahead. Read it, Ivan. Ivan, are you there, huh?
I can't see the screen for some reason.
Cannot see screen. Maybe you cannot see screen.
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with heart of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Thank you. Remember, one thing I want to mention here is our enemy from outside harm us, right? But cannot harm us more than our own mind. Our own mind is the most dangerous thing, right? They can kill us, right? So the number one enemy is our own mind, not the outside people. Remember that. So we have to take care of our mind. All right. Thank you, everyone. Nam mô A Di Đà Phật. Thank you.
Bye.
It's okay.
Tell me, we do not have the lotus flower class today. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Super.